Welcome back, Rugbyhub viewers. Another exciting episode. Today we're doing a Johnny Sexton exclusive episode combined with a review of the first two rounds of the Rugby Championship. We are also very honored to be again in the Fox studios. Welcome, Goran Blevi. Lovely to see you again. Looking good.
Hey, Gabsy. What a great it's an honor being at Fox Sports Studio. Thanks, obviously, to Stacey for getting us all the content, especially the inside information that she's received on the Sexton Ban. The Rugby Championship, obviously, going on as well after the first two rounds. This week is a bye week, so
Yeah,
we'll be
no, I
looking a
just
bit
want
at
to
that.
quickly pause you there, Goran. Let's first quickly talk about Johnny Sexton. For the viewers that does not know what happened with Johnny Sexton, what did he do, and how long is he banned for? Why is he banned?
Yeah, so Gabsy, it was during the Champions Cup against La Rochelle. After the first half, he came onto the field. He wasn't playing with his white sneakers and his suit, and he called the referees a fucking disgrace. That's his words, not mine. Apparently, so there was an investigation after that actually went on for, I think, the duration of 2 days before they actually issued a statement saying that he's not eligible for any of the warm-up games for the Irish test matches. He will only be able to play his first game at the Rugby World Cup. So how will that affect, the Ireland sort of World Cup plans? And also, yeah, it'll be interesting actually to hear from our Irish viewers. What do they think about it? Gabsy, what do you think about it?
I mean, Goran, let's be honest. I think it's just pathetic. If you think about 10 years ago, Darren Hartley got a 11-week ban and he missed the Lions series. And then let's not forget about our good old friend Rassie Erasmus making that video. And he got a 12-month ban. Of course, people will say, Rassie is the director of rugby and whatsoever. But, let's not forget Johnny Sexton is basically a player coach. The guy he's in his 40s almost. And what type of example does that set for the youth? In my opinion, this is not really a ban. He's missing 3 warm-ups. He's probably anyways going to be rested for those 3 games. So I just don't think, this is sending out any kind of message. And I won't be surprised if some players in the World Cup, gets verbal towards referees, because the World Rugby is not setting any kind of standards here. They're not making a point with this. And I think it's double standards in general. I mean, obviously probably Irish fans would disagree.
Do you think they should have made an example out of him?
I think they should have made an example out of him.
But
they should have
been
allowed
very
him back
harsh, man.
They should have allowed him back in the World Cup semis, because then we knew he would have anyways not played. Because I don't think
you
Ireland
just don't want him to play against the Springboks.
I mean, that's one thing, and the other thing is, I just honestly, personally, I don't think it's fair. It's just double standards.
No, fair point.
Three warm-up games for calling Jaco Paper effing disgrace. You should have more punishment than that. And he wasn't even playing, and you know what? He's a leader. He's definitely a role model for lots of young Irish players and lots of young internationals all over the world.
Okay, Gabriel, you've made your point.
Thank you.
But to be honest, yeah, fair enough. I want to hear from our Irish viewers, though. What do they think?
Okay.
Was it a light ban or not?
Let's not spend too much time on this topic. Let's go over to the Rugby Championship. Little quick review on the first 2 rounds. Obviously, that first week, for those of you who missed it, South Africa hammered Australia 43-12 at Loftus. And then obviously New Zealand also hammered Argentina. And in the second week, the Kiwis beat South Africa 35-20. And the Argentinians scored, the Los Pumas scored a late try to obviously, upset Australia in Australia 34-31. The log right now, obviously, the All Blacks are at the top with 9 points. They did not get a bonus point in both games, meaning it's still anybody's game. The Springboks need to win big, and Australia, once again, need to do us a favor. The Los Pumas can also still win it. I mean, the stars need to align for that. And unfortunately for Eddie Jones and his men, there's not really lots of hope of winning this year's Rugby Championship. Nevertheless, they have a bigger plan for the World Cup, and hopefully they can do us a favor this weekend, beating the All Blacks. Well, next weekend, pardon me. Anyways, that's a quick little recap, Guri. We have today planned to quickly discuss the 4 teams And, just a quick little recap on what's going on and who's, been standout players up front and at the back. First of all, we're going to quickly touch on the Springboks, of course. Let's get straight into it, Goran. I mean, what went wrong this time around with the split approach? It's worked so well in 2019.
Yes, that's a good question. I think it backfired a little bit. I mean, for me, you should differentiate between sending players to climatize, as Rassia and Johnny Sexton call it, and also match fitness. Right? I mean, those players who played in that game went in cold. I mean, those Japanese players looked out of sorts. Lood de Jager looked out of sorts. They haven't played for weeks, I think 15 weeks for Lood de Jager, Jasper Wiese as well, whereas the All Blacks had a bit of momentum after that Argentina win, right? And they had a bit more match fitness under their belt. So it backfired this time around. I don't think the alarm bells are going off for the Springboks necessarily, because Rassie Erasmus didn't show his hand, or Johnny Sexton rather. I mean, they didn't show sort of
They didn't
anything
compete
for...
in any. I don't think they competed in a single lineouts. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses here. We obviously would have preferred to win that game. It didn't turn out so. We lost it, in my opinion, the first 20 minutes. They were just more woke and they were more awake. They played, what you would call heads up rugby. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still one game left. I hope to see a very exciting team be selected by Ninoba for that game. I really hope it gives all the best players a chance, because at this stage, I do think some players have shown more than others that they deserve a chance.
We need to kind of settle on our A team now, right?
Exactly.
And let them play, let them get momentum.
Exactly. Let's go back to the drawing board and play with that A team.
Gabsy, who is your favorite backline player for the Springboks? First two rounds?
I'm gonna go with Willie Leroux. I think for me he was the standout player. One of the players that started both games, and
he's
so phenomenal.
like how do I say it? Like he does good things and he does bad things, but kind of the good things has been outweighing the bad things.
The bad things, exactly. You summed it up perfectly. I mean, and I just think he's been the standout player in the backs. Honestly, there's not another name that comes to mind.
45 assists so far for the Springboks, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
Making history, and he's coming over to the Blue Bulls now to play some exciting rugby. Anyways, let's go over to the best forward for the Springboks this year for you. This Rugby Championship after 2 rounds.
So far, first 2 rounds, obviously with the split squad, it was a bit difficult because different players were playing. But for the first 2 rounds, I had to go with Dwayne Vermeulen. He's actually showed that he is now kind of back in the mix for the Rugby World Cup. There was question marks about his age and his fitness and so on, but he looks very good. He looked great off the bench against the All Blacks, and with his leadership and his calmness, that he showed against the Wallabies, he was really good. So
definitely. I mean, thinking about Dwayne and Willie, both older senior players, really showing they're still ready to take that starting role and lead the Boks into the World Cup. Let's go over to the All Blacks. Obviously they've just been playing really well. I mean, what do you make of the All Blacks and those first 2 games, Goran?
Wow. They were really, really good. They are definitely starting to build very nicely. We're seeing a very good variation in their game, variation in their kicking game. Bodie Barrett at fullback working very well with Mohanga at this stage. You can really see how they've integrated the way that they approach Super Rugby and the way that they play Super Rugby, which is fast, great hands, giving the ball a lot of movement, never giving the defensive set from the Springboks and Argentina any time to set, and playing the classic heads-up rugby, like we want to call it. So that's very pleasing to see, and a great set piece. Things are really clicking together for them. Yeah,
you've said that perfectly, spot on. I can't add anything on that. So I'm going to jump straight to your best forward for the All Blacks this far. I know it's a tough one, but just give me an answer.
That was tough, but based on his performance against the Springboks, Shannon Frizzell was massive. He reminded me
also
of
against the Pumas.
No, he was very, very good, and that's exactly what they're looking for in their 6 flankers. So I went with Shannon Frizzell. How about the back line? Who do you got?
It was a tough one, but I obviously went with one of the Barrett brothers, and this time I'm giving it to Bowden. I think he's just been phenomenal. His kicking game has been good, and he's not really, for no reason, a ex two-time World Player of the Year. He's just once again coming to the party at the right time. All of the Barrett brothers, honestly, what players they are. Anyways, having said that, the Wallabies, Eddie Jones, back-to-back, 2 times, he didn't get the job done. What would you make of that?
Look, it's tough. Yeah, it's his first 2 games in charge. You can't critique too much on him. I mean, we're kind of seeing signs of something developing. However, their forward pack didn't really get dominant.
If I may add, he said in a post-match conference, which I, by the way, love. That's for me like the best part of Eddie Jones at this stage.
Should be better, mate.
Yeah, there's a one moment in the game where everything's going to change, and they haven't found that moment yet. So I'm really hoping it will be this weekend, next weekend against the All Blacks, that they get that moment.
He shot out a warning to them. He said, if I was All Blacks, I'd watch out.
Exactly. I mean, but we know old Uncle Eddie. He always shoots out a couple of warnings. Anyways, for you, best back for the Wallabies this fall.
I'm going with young Carter Gordon. And not because he has a beautiful mullet, but his mullet is definitely 90% for the reason why I chose him. But he is what Wallaby rugby is all about. Exuberance of youth. He's fearless. I mean, he showed some versatility for playing on 12 against Argentina. And I thought it was really good. So I'd like to see what he's going to do with his career. Very promising.
No, exactly. When going with good old James Slipper there, just for the way he's been taking punches from the media, he's sitting next to Eddie Jones every time, the guy sits there. I mean, he looks a little bit like Finding Nemo. He's really lost for words, but
at least the spotlight is not on him, right?
No, obviously, but no, honestly, didn't have really anything else to add there. I mean, last but not least, we just want to say at this stage, the Los Pumas, we know we don't have that many viewers from Buenos Aires and down there. I mean, our Spanish is not phenomenal. But what I can add is that the Los Pumas is very much still in it to win it. If they go out and stung the box and Eddie Jones and his men gets the job done, it could be, a historical year for Los Pumas. So let's see what happens next weekend. I keep saying this weekend because I'm so excited for next weekend. But let's see what happens. I mean, best forward that we selected there, Goran, we said it's Montoya because of his leadership and the way that he, fought back against the Wallabies. And the best back we went for was, do you remember or should I tell you?
Carreras.
What a player. There's 2 Carreras. Which Carreras?
Mateo.
Just for his performance against the Wallabies, not really for his performance against the All Blacks. Anyways, guys, please let us know.
Shout out Super Brew, Shark Boy.
Super Brew, Shark Boy is still in it to win it. Jock Lewis leading the Super Brew pool. Well done, Shark Boy.
Yeah, there's a reason why you guys are top of that log and not us. I mean, we got our picks completely wrong. I mean, it's actually Stacey's fault.
But guys, please let us know what you guys make of Johnny Sexton's ban. Let us know what you think we can expect for the upcoming final round of Rugby Championship. Also, let us know what you guys think of the first 2 rounds, who stood out, what stood out, and what would you like us to talk about in the preview for the last round of the Rugby Championship 2023 before we head on to the World Cup. Please check out the Instagram and the Super Brew if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for all the continuous support. We hit the 500 subs. So if you haven't subbed already, please sub. We're really grateful for the continuous support, guys. And enjoy your weekend.